I'm about to share with you guys the coolest desk that you've ever seen. I'm just going to say it. It's the cutest thing. I'm so happy with how the results turned out. Honestly, I was a little bit scared when I first did this project because there's a lot of things that I did that were new, but this is it. This is a dream desk. This is for my girls' room, so I can't wait to share with you guys how I did this. As you can see, this desk needed a lot of work. Some of the knobs were coming off and the leather on top was not looking good, but your girl cannot pass up on an antique, so let's get into it. First things first, let's do a good cleaning on this desk. I started off by brushing it because I wanted to get all of the dust and crumbs off of this bad boy. I used whatever random cleaner I had at the time to clean it, and I have a microfiber towel to get in all the nooks and crannies. Microfiber towels are the best for cleaning, in my opinion. After I was done cleaning, I took off all the knobs on the desk drawers. Sanding for me is a love-hate relationship because I absolutely love when I can get down to the raw wood and I can see what I'm working with. But on the other hand, is how much sanding you actually have to do to get down to the raw wood. And let me tell you, that leather on the top of the desk is no joke. So I decided that I need to just focus on the drawers for right now and I'll come back to the top. I wanted to try and fill the holes that are from the old handles on the drawers. So my husband actually is going to demonstrate how we could use wood glue and sawdust from our sander to make like a wood putty or a wood filler for these holes. I just wanted to try out this method to see how much I like it versus actually just getting wood putty. You honestly just have to keep mixing the two until you get a consistency that you like. Now I'm taking some painter's tape and I'm going to be taping underneath the drawers so that the wood putty, when I fill the holes, is not going to like seep through into the drawer. To be very honest with you, I am not the best at filling these holes in these drawers. It is what it is. But after letting it dry, after doing a horrible job, I sanded them down and moved on. I revisited the top of the desk. I started with like an 80 grit and then I moved on to a 120 and then I ended up doing a finer grit to like a 220. I also decided to sand the frame of the sides. I didn't want the checkers to be the only paint on the desk. I wanted a more balanced look, so I decided that I was going to frame in the desk with green paint. I thought this was a good alternative than painting the whole side because I don't want to take up too much of the wood on the desk. This is when the two-tone vision of the desk was coming to life. And this part was where I was really kind of nervous because I did not know how this was going to turn out. I've never done a two-tone look on any furniture before. And honestly, I was like, at first, I thought it was a little too dark, but it ended up turning out to be a lot lighter, which I was so very happy with the results of this. To bring in that balance again, I made sure that the top of the desk and the drawers were the same stain as well, just bringing in all of the stain and the paint in different areas. I'm going to try my absolute very best to teach you how to do this checkered technique. Okay, so hang in with me. I brushed off the top to make sure there was no dust or any kind of sand particles at all on the top. I did do some measuring before I started laying the tape out just to make sure that it was going to end up in a semi even pattern. So you can do this or you could wing it. But I recommend doing some measuring just to make sure that your pattern's not going to look like it's cut off at any point. So you can see that I am putting a piece of tape right next to the first tape that I laid down. This is going to be our spacer tape. We are using this tape to make sure that all of our checkers are going to be about 2 inches and that they will look even, nice, and square. After getting your spacer tape secure, you're going to add the next line of tape. Try to get the tape as close together as possible without overlapping. After your third tape is secure, remove the spacer tape. You are going to now put that spacer tape right after your third line of tape. Continue this pattern until you have reached the end of your surface. We are now headed the other direction, long ways. I measured before I started laying the tape down, and it wasn't going to be an even number, so I decided to split it up the best that I could. And again, we're going to need our spacer tape, so I am doing another line of tape right after the first one. Continue this pattern until you reach your destination. I also taped around the sides of the desk and around the checkered portion so none of the paint gets on the tape. The paint that I am using is from Amazon. At first, I wanted to get the paint on as quick as possible, and so I used the roller for this. But in the end, I really didn't like the texture that this roller was giving my desk, so I decided to get a clean paintbrush and use it for a nice brush texture. I added 2 coats of paint to the desk and I made sure that it was absolutely completely dry before taking off the tape. Honestly, at this point, I was very nervous because I didn't know what it was going to look like underneath all of the tape. I was scared that the paint was going to peel up with the tape when we were taking it off, but we made sure to go very, very slow. And so if you do this, I suggest that you go slow as well. My husband was very excited to see how this turned out, so he was helping me peel the tape back. All right, you guys, now it's time to do the next set of checkers. I am laying tape over those checkers that I had already made. They should be completely covered. You're going to want to line the tape up as best as you can so that you cannot see the paint on the outside of the tape. Now that I got the checkers completely covered long ways, I'm going to start doing the tape vertically. Now, you also want the vertical tape to cover those checkers as well. You want that tape to be on top of the checkers that were already made. This is how we get the checkers to be offset of the previous checkers. If you are having a hard time seeing the checkers and you're not confident that you can actually put the tape where it's supposed to be, then try to measure and do the opposite of what you did the previous checkers. Now it's time to paint again. I already rolled the paint on and now I'm doing the brush strokes again. I could have just done just the brush, but I just wanted to make sure that it came out exactly like the first set of checkers. So that was just a precaution of mine, just in case. This is it, guys. We are taking the last bit of tape off. I am so excited to show you guys the reveal of this. This was honestly, I can't tell you how nerve-wracking it was because I was peeling tape off of the previous checkers, but oh my God, do you see how beautiful it came out? I was so happy. But also don't mind my son because he moved my camera. Anyways, look at this. Look at this. Now it's time to seal the beautiful checkers because no one wants to do all of that work just for it to get messed up by some kids because this is going into my girls' room. I ended up doing 2 coats of this matte poly just so that the paint would not peel up when the girls are using the desk. Now it's time to wax. I am using wax that I have bought from Amazon for a previous project, and I am just touching up any of the old part of the desk that I did not touch during this process so I can give it a good new shine. I waxed the drawers, and I also decided that I wanted to wax on top of the poly. Yeah, I know that I didn't need to, but I was just like, it wouldn't hurt, and I Googled it, and Google said it was fine. Last but not least, we are going to put the handles on. I absolutely love these handles that I picked out. I tried to go with an older antique look to keep that feel of the antique desk. I couldn't have picked a better handle. Plus, it covers the holes that I failed so miserably to fill. And now for the final reveal. Isn't she a beauty? Thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope to see you in the next video.